Hello friends, today I will tell you about Mediterranean diet recipes for weight loss in 2020. The Mediterranean diet is based on the traditional foods that people used to eat in countries like Italy and Greece back in 1960. Researchers noted that these people were exceptionally healthy compared to Americans and had a low risk of many lifestyle diseases. Numerous studies have now shown that the Mediterranean diet can cause weight loss and help prevent heart attacks, strokes, type 2 diabetes and premature death. There is no one right way to follow the Mediterranean diet, as there are many countries around the Mediterranean Sea and people in different areas may have eaten different foods. This video describes the dietary pattern typically prescribed in studies that suggest it's a healthy way of eating. Consider all of this as a general guideline, not something written in stone. The plan can be adjusted to your individual needs and preferences. The Mediterranean diet basics. Eat vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, potatoes, whole grains, breads, herbs, spices, fish, seafood, and extra virgin olive oil. Eat in moderation, poultry, eggs, cheese, and yogurt. Eat only rarely, red meat. Don't eat sugar-sweetened beverages, added sugars, processed meat, refined grains, refined oils, and other highly processed foods. Avoid these unhealthy foods. You should avoid these unhealthy foods and ingredients: soda, candies, ice cream, table sugar, and many others. Refined grains, as white bread, pasta made with refined wheat, etc. Trans fats, found in margarine and various processed foods. Refined oils, soybean oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil and others. Processed meat, processed sausages, hot dogs, etc. Highly processed foods, anything labeled low-fat or diet or which looks like it was made in a factory. You must read food labels carefully if you want to avoid these unhealthy ingredients. Foods to eat. Exactly which foods belong to the Mediterranean diet is controversial, partly because there is such variation between different countries. The diet examined by most studies is high in healthy plant foods and relatively low in animal foods. However, eating fish and seafood is recommended at least twice a week. The Mediterranean lifestyle also involves regular physical activity, sharing meals with other people and enjoying life. You should base your diet on these healthy, unprocessed Mediterranean foods. Vegetables: tomatoes, broccoli, kale, spinach, onions, cauliflower, carrots, Brussels sprouts, cucumbers, etc. Fruits: apples, bananas, oranges, pears, strawberries, grapes, dates, figs, melons, peaches, etc. Nuts and seeds: almonds, walnuts, macadamia nuts, hazelnuts, cashews, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, etc. Legumes: beans, peas, lentils, pulses, peanuts, chickpeas, etc. Tubers: potatoes, sweet potatoes, turnips, yams, etc. Whole grains: whole oats, brown rice, rye, barley, corn, buckwheat, whole wheat, whole grain bread and pasta, fish and seafood, salmon, sardines, trout, tuna, mackerel, shrimp, oysters, clams, crab, mussels, etc. Poultry, chicken, duck, turkey, etc. Eggs, chicken, quail and duck eggs. Dairy, cheese, yogurt, Greek yogurt, etc. Herbs and spices, garlic, basil, mint, rosemary, sage, nutmeg, cinnamon, pepper, etc. Healthy fats, extra virgin olive oil, olives, avocados and avocado oil. Whole, single-ingredient foods are the key to good health. What to drink? Water should be your go-to beverage on a Mediterranean diet. This diet also includes moderate amounts of red wine, around 1 glass per day. However, this is completely optional. And wine should be avoided by anyone with alcoholism or problems controlling their consumption. Coffee and tea are also completely acceptable. But you should avoid sugar-sweetened beverages and fruit juices, which are very high in sugar. A Mediterranean sample menu for 1 week. Feel free to adjust the portions and food choices based on your own needs and preferences. Monday. Breakfast, Greek yogurt with strawberries and oats. Lunch, whole grain sandwich with vegetables. Dinner, a tuna salad, dressed in olive oil. A piece of fruit for dessert. Tuesday. Breakfast, oatmeal with raisins. Lunch, leftover tuna salad from the night before. Dinner, salad with tomatoes, olives and feta cheese. Wednesday. Breakfast, omelette with veggies, tomatoes and onions. A piece of fruit. Lunch, whole grain sandwich, with cheese and fresh vegetables. Dinner, Mediterranean lasagna. Thursday. Breakfast, yogurt with sliced fruits and nuts. Lunch, leftover lasagna from the night before. Dinner, broiled salmon, served with brown rice and vegetables. Friday. Breakfast, eggs and vegetables, fried in olive oil. Lunch, Greek yogurt with strawberries, oats and nuts. Dinner, grilled lamb, with salad and baked potato. Saturday. Breakfast, oatmeal with raisins, nuts and an apple. Lunch, whole grain sandwich with vegetables. Dinner, Mediterranean pizza made with whole wheat, topped with cheese, vegetables and olives. Sunday. Breakfast, omelette with veggies and olives. Lunch, leftover pizza from the night before. Dinner, grilled chicken, with vegetables and a potato. Fruit for dessert. There is usually no need to count calories or track macronutrients, protein, fat and carbs, on the Mediterranean diet. Healthy Mediterranean snacks. You don't need to eat more than 3 meals per day. But if you become hungry between meals, there are plenty of healthy snack options. A handful of nuts. A piece of fruit. Carrots or baby carrots. Some berries or grapes. Greek yogurt. Apple slices with almond butter. How to follow the diet at restaurants. It's very simple to make most restaurant meals suitable for the Mediterranean diet. Choose fish or seafood as your main dish. Ask them to fry your food in extra virgin olive oil. Only eat whole grain bread with olive oil instead of butter. A simple shopping list for the diet. It is always a good idea to shop at the perimeter of the store. That's usually where the whole foods are. Always try to choose the least processed option. Organic is best, but only if you can easily afford it. Vegetables: carrots, onions, broccoli, spinach, kale, garlic, etc. Fruits: apples, bananas, oranges, grapes, etc. Berries: strawberries, blueberries, etc. Frozen veggies. Choose mixes with healthy vegetables. Grains: whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, etc. Legumes: lentils, pulses, beans, etc. Nuts: almonds, walnuts, cashews, etc. Seeds: sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, etc. Condiments: sea salt, pepper, turmeric, cinnamon, etc. Fish: salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout, shrimp, and shellfish. Potatoes and sweet potatoes. Cheese, Greek yogurt, chicken, pastured or omega-3 enriched eggs, olives, extra virgin olive oil. It's best to clear all unhealthy temptations from your home, including sodas, ice cream, candy, pastries, white bread, crackers and processed foods. If you only have healthy food in your home, you will eat healthy food. The bottom line: though there is not one defined Mediterranean diet, this way of eating is generally rich in healthy plant foods and relatively lower in animal foods, with a focus on fish and seafood. You can find a whole world of information about the Mediterranean diet on the internet, and many great books have been written about it. At the end of the day, the Mediterranean diet is incredibly healthy and satisfying. You won't be disappointed. Scientific health benefits of the Mediterranean diet. 1. The Mediterranean diet may help reduce your risk for heart disease. Numerous studies suggest the Mediterranean diet is good for your ticker. Noted a meta-analysis published in November 2015 in the journal Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition. Perhaps the most convincing evidence comes from a randomized clinical trial published in April 2013 in the New England Journal of Medicine, known as the PREDIMED study. For about 5 years, authors followed 7,000 women and men in Spain who had type 2 diabetes or a high risk for cardiovascular disease. Those who ate a calorie-unrestricted Mediterranean diet with extra virgin olive oil or nuts had a 30% lower risk of heart events. Researchers didn't advise participants on exercise. The study authors reanalyzed the data at a later point to address a widely criticized flaw in the randomization protocol, and reported similar results in June 2018 in the New England Journal of Medicine. That is probably the biggest scientific evidence to say that a Mediterranean diet is healthful, in terms of reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease, Carson says. 2. Eating a Mediterranean diet may reduce women's risk for stroke. We already know from the PREDIMED study that eating in a Mediterranean fashion can help lower the risk of cardiovascular disease in some people. Well, the diet may also help reduce stroke risk in women, though researchers didn't observe the same results in men, according to a cohort study published in September 2018 in the journal Stroke. Researchers looked at a predominantly white group of 23,232 men and women ages 40 to 77 who lived in the United Kingdom. The more closely a woman followed a Mediterranean diet, the lower her risk of having a stroke. However, researchers didn't see statistically significant results in men. Most notably, in women who were at high risk of having a stroke, following the diet reduced their chances of this health event by 20%. Study authors don't know the reason for the difference, but they hypothesize that different types of strokes in men and women may play a role. A good next step toward understanding the reasons behind the differences would be a clinical trial, Carson says. 3. A Mediterranean diet may prevent cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. As a heart-healthy diet, the Mediterranean eating pattern may also help to reduce a decline in your memory and thinking skills with age. The brain is a very hungry organ. To supply all of those nutrients and oxygen that it needs, you have to have a rich blood supply. So, people who are having any problems with their vascular health, their blood vessels, are really at increased risk for developing problems with their brain. And then that frequently will present itself as cognitive decline, says Keith Fargo, Ph.D., Director of Scientific Programs and Outreach for the Alzheimer's Association. A July 2016 review published in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition looked at the effect of the Mediterranean diet on cognitive function and concluded, there is encouraging evidence that a higher adherence to a Mediterranean diet is associated with improving cognition, slowing cognitive decline, or reducing the conversion to Alzheimer's disease. What's more, a small study funded by the National Institute on Aging and published in May 2018 in the journal Neurology looked at brain scans for 70 people who had no signs of dementia at the outset, and scored them for how closely their eating patterns hewed to the Mediterranean pattern. Those who scored low tended to have more beta-amyloid deposits, protein plaques in the brain associated with Alzheimer's disease, and lower energy use in the brain at the end of the study. At least 2 years later, these individuals also showed a greater increase of deposits and reduction of energy use, potentially signaling an increased risk for Alzheimer's, than those who more closely followed the Mediterranean diet. All that said, more research is needed before recommending this eating approach to lower Alzheimer's risk. The authors called for additional research in a larger participant group and for a longer study period. For now, Dr. Fargo identifies the Mediterranean diet as one way of eating that can help stave off cognitive decline. But he does not necessarily recommend it over other well-studied diets, such as the MIND diet. MIND stands for Mediterranean Diet Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay, which is a hybrid of the Mediterranean pattern and the blood pressure-lowering diet, noted an article published in September 2015 in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia. What the Alzheimer's Association recommends is a heart-healthy pattern of eating, he says. He also urges caution in drawing conclusions about the current body of research into how diets affect the development of Alzheimer's disease, saying that the exact mechanisms at play are still unclear. 4. The Mediterranean diet may help with weight loss and maintenance. Likely due to its focus on whole, fresh foods, the Mediterranean diet may help you lose weight in a safe and sustainable way. But if you're looking for fast results, you may be better off with a different diet plan. As mentioned, in its 2019 rankings, U.S. News & World Report rated the Mediterranean diet as number 1 in its best diets overall category, yet the diet tied with several other plans for the 17th position among the website's best weight loss diets. Over a 5-year period, eating a calorie-unrestricted Mediterranean diet high in unsaturated vegetable fat led to slightly more weight loss and added less to participants' waist circumferences than a low-fat diet. According to an analysis of the Spanish PREDIMED trial data that was published in August 2016 in the journal The Lancet, Diabetes and Endocrinology. Particularly, people who added extra virgin olive oil to their diets lost the most weight, 0.88 kilogram, or 1.9 pounds lbs on average. Those who added nuts lost 0.4 kilograms on average, 0.88 pounds, and those in the control group who ate a low-fat diet lost 0.6 kilograms, 1.3 pounds. Once you add calorie restriction, the Mediterranean diet may show more dramatic results, though not necessarily beating out another popular diet approach. In a 2-year randomized, clinical trial, 322 moderately obese middle-aged participants in Israel, who were mostly men, followed one of 3 diets: a calorie-restricted low-fat diet, a calorie-restricted Mediterranean diet, and a calorie-unrestricted low-carb diet. Among the Mediterranean diet followers, women ate a maximum of 1,500 calories per day, while men's calorie count was restricted to 1,800 calories per day, with the goal of having no more than 35% of their calories from fat. The calorie restrictions were the same for those on the low-fat diet. The mean weight loss was 4.4 kilograms, 9.7 pounds for the Mediterranean diet group, 2.9 kilograms, 6.4 pounds for the low-fat group, and 4.7 kilograms, 10.3 pounds for the low-carbohydrate group. 5. Eating a Mediterranean diet may help stave off and manage type 2 diabetes. For type 2 diabetes management and possible prevention, a Mediterranean diet may be the way to go. Using participants from the PREDIMED study, researchers randomized a subgroup of 418 people ages 55 to 80 without diabetes and followed up with them after 4 years to see if they had developed the disease. The results were published in the journal Diabetes Care. Those participants who followed the Mediterranean diet, whether supplementing with olive oil or nuts, had a 52% lower risk for type 2 diabetes during the 4-year follow-up, and they didn't necessarily lose weight or exercise more. Furthermore, a meta-analysis of 20 randomized clinical trials published in January 2013 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that the Mediterranean diet improved blood sugar control more than low-carbohydrate, low glycemic index, and high-protein diets. In those managing type 2 diabetes, this finding suggests that a Mediterranean diet may be an effective way to help ward off type 2 diabetes-related health complications. 6. People with rheumatoid arthritis may benefit from the Mediterranean diet. Rheumatoid arthritis (RA) is an autoimmune disease in which the body's immune system mistakenly attacks the joints, creating pain and swelling in and around them. Certain properties of the Mediterranean diet, including its richness in anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, may help relieve RA symptoms. According to the National Institutes of Health's Office of Dietary Supplements, research thus far suggests that long-chain omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish may be helpful in relieving RA symptoms on top of medication, though more research is needed. 7. Are foods in the Mediterranean diet protective against cancer? Indeed, a Mediterranean diet meal plan may help prevent certain types of cancer. A meta-analysis and review of 83 studies published in October 2017 in the journal Nutrients suggested the Mediterranean diet may help reduce the risk of cancers such as breast cancer and colorectal cancer, and help prevent cancer-related death. These observed beneficial effects are mainly driven by higher intakes of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, the authors wrote. A separate study, published in October 2015 in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine and based on PREDIMED data, found that women who ate a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil had a 62% lower risk of breast cancer than those in the control group that ate a low-fat diet. 8. Eating foods in a Mediterranean diet may help ease depression. The Mediterranean way of eating is linked to lower incidence of depression, according to an analysis of 41 observational studies published in September 2018 in the journal Molecular Psychiatry. Analysis of pooled data from 4 longitudinal studies revealed that the diet was associated with a 33% reduced risk of depression, compared with following a pro-inflammatory diet richer in processed meats, sugar, and trans fats that is more typical of a standard American diet. If you like this video, please like, comment and share this video with your friend. Don't forget subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.